Looking for concrete evidence of Bigfoot? In concrete, Washington, that is. Coming up next on Encounters USA. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounters USA with author Matthew Hines. If you're looking for alien incidents, Bigfoot brouhahas, or dogman dealings, we have the podcast interviews, field research, and field interviews you're gonna love. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and check us out on Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello everybody, welcome to Encounters USA. Today we have a special podcast. We are going out into the field. We are going out to Concrete, Washington, which is near Baker Lake, up off of Highway 2. This is the center of a lot of Bigfoot activity, all the way from the Laurie Simmons tree to the Marble Mount Bigfoot Festival and everything in between. So we are going to pack up and we are going to head out to Concrete, and we're going to make a stop in our favorite little restaurant once we get out there. So let's pack up and let's go. All right, well, we're in Concrete, Washington now, and one place that you really want to stop at when you're in Concrete is you want to stop at Perks Espresso and Deli. They have a really nice buffet, or not buffet, but they have a nice menu, and they have the best biscuits and gravy you could ask for. So we always stop here when we are out at Baker Lake or up in the Cascades hunting for Bigfoot. So let's go inside and see what's happening. Well, guess what? We are now in Perks Restaurant, and as I said on the way in, if you're out here in Concrete and you're going up to the Baker Lake recreation area, this is one little treasure trove that my wife and I found about a year ago, and we just found out some very interesting information. And the first thing is that Kristen here has taken...
Tanya.
Why do I keep calling? I think it's because of college. All right. So let me just start again. Hello, everybody. We are sitting at Perks Cafe, and we are in Concrete, Washington. As I said, we're about ready to go out on a Bigfoot hunt. We're going to go looking at some sites that were listed on the BFRO site, and that's a little ways up at Baker Lake and another lake called Grandy. But what a fortunate happening is that we always come to this cafe. It's really a nice little cafe. It's called Perks. It's right in outside of Concrete, Washington, actually. And we always come here before we go looking for doing Bigfoot or UFO research. And what a surprise! We have a new manager, and our new manager is
Tanya Melsom.
Tanya Melsom, and I keep calling Tanya Kristen. So, and I don't know why. It's probably Freudian or something, but anyway, if I mess up her name is Tanya, and let's just go with that. So Tanya, you took over this restaurant, and we just have loved this ever since we started coming. So what are you doing? Anything new? What's your outlook for the operation?
I just want to build it. I'm doing some remodeling and just freshening it up, making it mine. It's more of a nature look is what I'm going for. Different nature themes, a lot of woodwork and just plants and natural things. I'm going to paint and just do some updating and just kind of make it mine and try to just build it even more. And during the winters, I kind of concentrate more on locals because this is where they like to come. And
to see your pretty face.
Oh, thank you. The summers, I'm a new owner since January, but the summers I here are pretty busy, so we're kind of gearing up for that, getting our team trained, and that's it so far.
Okay, well, it's really exciting, and I really, really love this restaurant, so we'll post this on the map and everything so you don't have any problem finding it. Now, another thing about Tanya that I want to get you excited about is in our next podcast, because we're going to be doing, this is basically a field research video. Our next podcast, we are going to be actually be out here. Tanya was I'm just cracking up here. So Tanya actually had her own Bigfoot experience, and there's other experiences that we're going to be talking to her about. So this is basically just an introduction to Tanya, to Perk's Restaurant, where if you are out Bigfoot hunting near Baker Lake, and we do a lot of UFO and Bigfoot hunting out here. So if you're out here and you need some grub, Perk's Restaurant is the place to be. So thanks a lot, Tanya. It's nice to meet you, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Tanya. After our amazing interview with Tanya, we were really excited about the likelihood of seeing some kind of Bigfoot activity. So we packed up the truck post-haste and we headed on down the road. Or actually we headed up the road because we wanted to go up to near Baker Lake and actually to a place called Grandy Creek. So we are here at right outside of Grandy Lake. This is the first spot that we're going to check out. According to the BFRO site, the incident happened about a mile up the road here. So we're going to go ahead and just walk up and see what we can find along the way. So let's see what's up here. What we're trying to do here is get my camera to stay online with me as we walk. Seems to be hard to do, but the reason we're out here is because, as we saw when we were at Perk's over in Concrete, is that everybody that lives out here pretty much has a Bigfoot story to tell. And if they don't tell it, it's just because they don't want to. But out here there are a number of sightings, and so anytime that you come out here into this area, especially at this time of the year, there obviously isn't a lot of snow here. It's towards the end of winter. So what you're gonna have is you're gonna have a lot of these creatures that come down here, and they will be coming down to fish, to chase game, and to basically eat. And if you come down here, compared to being up in the higher elevations, there's no snow. So we're just going up here, and we're gonna go to the spot where the sighting was and see what we can find, and see if we can't find any evidence of Bigfoot family having been up here. But they're definitely here. They could be watching us right now as I talk. So let's go on up the trail or up the road and see what's there. Report number 62403, Class B, submitted by witness on Saturday, January 19th, 2019. Mushroom picker has ongoing activity in same area over many years near Grandy Lake. Season summer, month September, state Washington, county Skagit. Location details. It's about a mile before Grandy Lake Campground on an open logging road on the left-hand side. There's a wooden sign for posting info. At the entrance, there is an area off to the left where people have been camping. The spot is approximately 1 mile up the road with a pull-out area on the left. It is hard to tell the exact driving distance to the exact spot without going back and get an accurate mileage from the main road to the spot. Nearest town concrete, nearest road Baker Lake Road. Observed. It was early Saturday afternoon. It was early afternoon on a hot summer day. I was up looking for oyster mushrooms in the hills west of Baker Lake Road by Grandy Creek. I have had several experiences in the fall time over several years. Anyway, as I was walking in on a wooded hillside and happened to look down and saw an impression in a mossy patch that looked like an old Sasquatch track. The ground is not good for impressions except for the mossy patches. It measured 15 inches long. It was broad at the toes and had a wide heel. There was even a rise in the middle of the track, as if from a mid-tarsal break. It may not be a track, it may be a track. If a track, it had been there for some time, as it had small debris sitting in it. I was up there this fall, and the possible track was still in the same condition, so it should still be able to be located. By the way, I got a good haul of oyster mushrooms that day. I have heard deep rhythmic grunts followed by a tree shaking in the creek bottom. My dad and I heard this breathing that was loud and angry sounding. Possible it could have been a grizzly, but it was somewhat different than sounds I have looked up on the internet. I had small rocks thrown at me. My wife and I heard 3 wood knocks, one after the other from 3 different but close locations. All these incidents happened from about 2008 until present. I only wish I had a visual, but I think the rock throwing was the incident that nailed it down for me. Also noticed, I guess I explained it up there, so see there. Other stories only on your site. However, I had a first-hand account relayed to me by a gentleman that said he and several other motorists saw one that ran down the roadside for a short ways and head up into the woods up a hillside. This was in the Rockport area. Environment. It was in a typical fir, cedar, maple, alder forest and the Grandy Creek bottom below the site, on a hillside that had pretty much needle-covered ground with patches of Oregon grape and moss. It then turns in thick underbrush leading to a small meadow. There's a lot of supposedly alien activity up here in these mountains, and we're going to talk to Tanya from Perks Restaurant on Thursday and talk about her encounters, or her relatives' encounters with a Bigfoot. So should be pretty exciting. And now we're just gonna meander on back down the hill here. And I should also point out that the sign back there said no traffic, and we've already passed 2 trucks. So said no motorized traffic, and we already passed 2 trucks. So I don't know why we're walking up this hill, but I can tell you what, the next time we look here, we are going to be driving. So there's our handy photographer. I'm wondering what she's doing here. Wondering what she ever did to deserve to go out on a Bigfoot hunt in February. But there she is, waiting faithfully. So we're just going to mosey on back down the hill. And I don't know if you can see off in the distance, but you can see the snow line and some sunshine up on the mountains across the way. All right, so we're going to shut this down, and we will head up to a sighting up at a place called Spencer or Shannon Creek, which is very popular place to camp, but also a place where an amazing Bigfoot sighting happened. And we're going to go out and we're going to check that out. So let's catch up to our cameraman and actually have the embarrassing circumstance of my sweats are falling off. So I'm almost down to my knees. And there's my cameraman laughing. All right, funny, huh? After our exploration at the Grandy Creek site, we decided to head up to the next spot that we wanted to check out, and that was up at a place called Shannon Creek. Okay, so we have actually hit the snow line, and it is a little bit raining and a little bit snow, and so we have got the, oh nope, it's a lot of snow. So we are in the snow and we are heading up to Shannon Creek. And as we go along here, I just want to point out that this is obviously a very likely place to see a Bigfoot, and one of the reasons I have the camera actually on the road is not so that you can see the window fogging up, but because any time now Sasquatch may just hop out in the road, because the road right now is probably the best place to travel because of all the snow and all the stuff that's in the woods right now. So it's looking pretty wintry. We've got snow and we are about 8 miles away from Shannon Creek, and just watching on the side of the road for any kind of signs of a Sasquatch. Now, we have had some weird kind of trouble, and this is the same thing that happens to a lot of people when they film UFO activity. Our trouble is that our battery on the way up to Shannon Creek, which is at the end of this road that goes around the north side of Baker Lake, battery light just came on. So that meant that my car or my truck had just stopped charging. So instead of being able to go all the way up to Shannon Creek and continue the investigation up there, we had to turn around and hightail it back for some quick repairs and hopefully a way home. Well, fortunately, we were able to make our way back home, and we had enough video from our interview with Tanya out at Perks, and also from the first site out off of Grandy Creek, that we could make one video. And now we have another engagement. We're going to go back up there in a couple days, and Tanya at Perks Restaurant is going to take us out to where she had an amazing encounter with Bigfoot right at Grandy Creek. So that's going to be actually part 2 of what we call our Bigfoot in Concrete series. So you'll want to stick around for that, and we'll probably be posting either Thursday or we'll be posting early next week. All right then. So as we always say at Encounters USA, if you're up in Concrete, Washington, around Baker Lake, or anywhere where there's been a lot of Bigfoot activity, always remember, that's right, watch your back. Thanks for joining us on Encounters USA. Remember, if you have comments, please leave them in the comments section on YouTube, and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell while you're at it. Don't forget, if you'd like to be a guest on Encounters USA, just send us an email at encountersusa1@gmail.com and just put podcast guest in the subject line. Now please remember that all of the guests' opinions on Encounters USA are their own, and they do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the podcast host nor the podcast sponsors. So thank you, and don't forget, when you're out in the woods looking for aliens, Bigfoot, or Dogman, always watch your back.